Everybody who's speaking, let's come on and get up and we can get a little cozy like we like each other. All right, good morning. I'm Christian Menifee, the Harris County Attorney, and we're happy to be here today to announce some swift legal action that we plan to take in response to an action by the TCEQ. Frank Wilson, representing Super Neighborhood 48, Sherry Dunlap, representing the Metropolitan Organization, and Saint of Assisi Parish. We have Sister, we got everybody here. Look, for months now, we've been ringing the alarm about a potential concrete crushing plant that's going to be placed right across the street from LBJ, one of the largest trauma centers here in the state of Texas. Since that time, we have now seen that exactly what we called has happened. The TCEQ, after doing a meaningless review, has approved the company's permit, that's Texas Materials, and we're here today to announce our continued opposition and the next steps that we plan to take. You know, it's ironic that just 24 hours after we were celebrating a win in the environmental justice movement yesterday, when Waste Management decided to drop their application to expand a landfill, we're now having to get right back in the fight here in this neighborhood to oppose a concrete crushing plant. Why is this bad? Well, folks, this is common sense, right? You don't put a facility that crushes concrete, that pollutes the air, just across the street from a hospital. And no to pushing pollution in neighborhoods that are underserved and have black and brown folks who live in the Harris County Attorney's Office. And time after time, we see comments filed, but we never see 660 comments filed. But that's exactly what happened here. It's much higher than we normally see, yet somehow the TCEQ was able to make its way through each and every one of those comments in just over 30 days. And this included our comments from the Harris County Attorney's Office, where we made clear that this hospital has a place of worship, not just the chapel, but also each and every one of the patient rooms, where you see pastors going into the room, providing prayer, which triggers some important deadlines. So what's going to happen next? Well, now that the company has their permit, they're going to be looking to start the process of building their concrete crushing plant. My office is working very closely with Congresswoman Sheila Jackson-Lee and our partners at the state, including Senator Boyce Miles, and we're going to be filing a motion to overturn with the TCEQ commissioners. Lone Star Legal Aid is going to be joining us in that effort, but I want to be clear. This is an administrative remedy that we do not expect will be successful. And the reason is because the initial decision is made by the executive director of the TCEQ, but the motion protected. I look forward to that effort because what you're seeing here is representatives from the federal government, from state government, from county government, and even yesterday, our mayor noted that city government, we have our city controller here as well, will be supporting this effort. People have, they're very important. I now want to turn the mic over to our president and CEO of Harris Health, Dr. Ismael Porsa, and then after that, you'll hear from our city controller, Chris Hollins.
Good morning, and thank you, County Attorney Christian Menifee. Thank you for everybody else who's here this morning in support of what you just heard. I'm really at a loss for words. You know, we have held public hearings, that this is also the site of the future Level 1 Trauma Center Hospital for Harris County burden for the communities that surround LBJ Hospital. These same communities are already disproportionately suffering from health issues and lower life expectancy than other areas of Harris County. This is only going to add to that burden. Over the last few months, I have learned that creation of a concrete crushing plant such as the one that is proposed here, close to residences, places of worship, and schools, are already prohibited by Texas law. I have wondered, why not hospitals? Why weren't hospitals included in that law? Unlike places of worship and schools, where hundreds of people may gather together a few times a week, a hospital, especially a level 1 trauma center hospital that is in the future plans for this site, is going to be open 24/7, 365 days a year, hosting hundreds of thousands of people, many of whom elderly, and not obvious that at the time when this legislature was being discussed and decided on, people probably thought to themselves, who would ever put a crushing plant across the street from a hospital? And yet here we are. This is absurdity at its worst. So, as a physician, that your group is surrounded this area. This is indeed a very sad day. I want to thank you all again for coming to support. Thank you.
To first and cancer causing places within the city. There is a dollar cost to this. The investment by the city so far in relocation has been $5 million. The current consideration is that's going to be a huge problem. But make no mistake, when we talk about tens of millions that are going to be required by the taxpayers of this city, of this county, and now we're putting something right in the midst of this environment that's going to hurt them. It's going to hurt the folks who are coming to visit them. It's going to hurt the folks who are coming to pray with them. And we stand at the outset of a new administration here in the city of Houston. We've talked about the ability of local government and state government to work together. I want to thank, of course, our County Attorney Christian Menifee for leading us in this fight. I want to thank Senator Boris Miles and Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee for their partnership. But our mayor has talked about the opportunity to re-engage in a positive, productive way with the state. And so the environmentally, I trust that our city, I trust that our state and congressional representatives will all stand shoulder to shoulder to fight on behalf of the city of Houston is here with you. Thank you.
All right, next I'm going to welcome up two of our community leaders who are here. Julie Thurman Wilson from Super Neighborhood 48 and Keith Downey from Super Neighborhood 52, and they're both going to do some remarks.
Good morning. We're here this morning in a place that we had not been often with this many people because this fight has gone on for a long time. We're at the intersection of City Gas, Houston Gardens, Trinity Gardens, Cashmere Gardens, more concrete batch plants in our purview than anybody to remind them. And now that we have the the county attorney, we have Lone Star Legal Aid, who has long been our advocate and working with us. We have the legislators and our congresswoman. We have the NAACP and the city of Houston. We are holidays. This is imperative that we all continue to rally together. And again, we appreciate our legislators, our county attorney, and mostly we appreciate LBJ because the county could have chose, Harris County Hospital District could have chose to do this $2 billion facility anywhere else in the county. It was necessary that it be here. We just didn't know it would be necessary for it to be here, to be across the street from a concrete batch plant. So we look forward to working with the groups that are represented, and we look forward as the community to coming out and continuing to challenge this permit. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Keith Downey, Super Neighborhood President for this community, Cashmere Garden. As I stated months ago at a podium, why us, why again? Why us, why again? I received a notice a couple of days ago from TCEQ that another facility at Collinsworth between Jensen and Elysian wants a renewal for a rock crushing facility. Why are you continuing to put profit over people? On the bridge down Homestead, why are you continuing to do you work for industry as an agency in the state of Texas? We are standing here in conjunction today because we believe it's people over profit. Why don't you join us as the state, but ignore the health and wellness of a certain group. I think this, and I'm closing with this. I think this is a slap to everybody in Harris County. Industry is in business to make money, but we're in business to live. So I'm asking that this be overturned. I appreciate everybody standing up here in conjunction, working for the health and wellness of people over profit. Thank you.
Thank you, Keith, for the very, very powerful words. Next, I'm going to welcome up the members of our faith community who are here.
Sherry Dunlap from the Metropolitan Organization and representing St. Francis of Assisi Parish, which is right across the freeway. I want to say what has been described here is environmental racism. When you see the number of plants that are already in this general vicinity within 2 to 3 mile radius, and you see the people of color, brown, live within that area. And we have what we would call receipts. These are signatures, half of which were obtained within 24 hours after finding out about this concrete crushing facility. So this is over 650. We had a huge number of people who showed up and voiced their concerns and oppositions the night that we had the community meeting. All of those people were told by TCEQ that they would receive a response to their opposition. We don't know of one who has received a response. We were told that the response would be received before they granted the permit. That didn't happen. We learned about the permit being granted within the past 24 hours. We want to know, when are they planning to respond to all the people that they committed to respond to? Making my comments brief and yield to the other.
Good morning, I'm Sister Maureen O'Connell. I'm with the Archdiocese of Galveston, Houston. And I'm really here to represent our entire spiritual community, but all the people who live here. The people in this community who deserve to live in an environment that's healthy and will continue to make them be healthy. This building is the beginning of what's going to be the next step in terms of the new facility. This is a building where people are educated day in and day out. This is a place where people are served spiritually day in and day out. And all of that is in combination with the health care that they receive from Harris County Health. The Archdiocese of Galveston Houston stands with the people of this community, stands with Harris Health, and with all the people who recognize the absurdity of a decision that would allow for a concrete crushing plant to be opened across the freeway from this building. It makes no sense, and it certainly speaks nothing to the common good. It speaks nothing to the call that each of us have as believers, that everybody deserves the right to live in a place that's healthy and holy. Thank you.
Say good. We've heard a lot about who's been getting permits. There's one group of people they have not received permission from, and that is this community. We stand in opposition to this batch plane coming into our community.
Thank you, Attorney Christian Menifee, and to all of us who are here in solidarity, standing with each other and standing on behalf of our unnamed citizens who are often the victims of poor public policy. And I want to commend the leaders of the super neighborhoods for being on the forefront of this fight, along with our elected officials and all of us who are here. I'm James Dixon. I'm the president of the Houston chapter of the NAACP. I am social justice chair for the Houston Metropolitan Baptist Ministers Conference, and I wear a number of hats, all that have to do with serving our community. I simply want to say a couple of things. The NAACP is here because this is an affront to civil rights and to human rights. This is absolutely, death rate here in this quadrant of our city is higher than others, and it comes too soon. I grew up on Homestead, a few miles from here, on Homestead off of, on St. Louis Street. I know what this community has faced for 30 and 40 and 50 years of of mistreatment. Today, we're here simply to say this. It's very important. This is a death permit. We need to call it what it is. And now, y'all can say amen today. Amen. This is a death permit. What TCEQ has done is given a death permit to this concrete batch plant to come into our community to continue to escalate premature deaths, poor health, and sickness and disease. We cannot stand for that. We will call on our governor and 6,000 people to come together to say that we will not allow it to happen. And then finally, profit over people. We will not support the businesses who hire these concrete companies. The key is economics. As long as businesses can hire concrete batch plants in our community and make profit from them, and they still profit from our support, they will continue this kind of nonsense. We've got to decide that anyone profiting from these concrete batch plants in our community, killing us while profiting from us, is insane. And so we've got to understand a change of strategy. Affect the money, and we will affect the change. The love of money is the root of all evil. Finally, I close with this. We need to stand together and say, respect us or expect us. Respect us or expect us. We're not going away. We're getting larger because the army of life wants to live. Thank you so very much, I almost called you Congressman. Thank you so very much.
From Justin from Senator Boris Miles' office. I'll read a statement from Representative Harold Dutton, and then after that we'll take questions.
Continue to fight the construction and operation of this polluting facility. Last month, I joined hundreds of community members, medical professionals from LBJ Hospital, and environmental advocates to voice our strong opposition to Texas Coastal Materials air permit application. This plant will threaten the health of patients and staff at LBJ, many of whom are already suffering from serious health issues. Senate District 13 is plagued by the legacy of environmental racism, with polluters in their midst that have poisoned the air and water and created a cancer cluster just a few miles from here. TCEQ and its leadership must stop rubber stamping these facilities and end its cozy relationship with the industry that allowed these plan on filing and motion to overturn TCEQ's decision. This rock crushing facility will be located within 400 batch plants and the cumulative effects of pollution so that we can end the locating of these facilities in our neighborhoods. This community should no longer have to suffer from the environmental racism that has been a scourge of our neighborhoods for decades. Thank you.
Okay, this is a statement from Representative Harold Dutton in the 142nd Legislative District. I'm deeply decision that seemingly disregards the consequences of public health. The residents of underserved communities already face numerous challenges, and the approval of this permit further exacerbates their struggles. We cannot ignore the potential respiratory issues, dust-related health hazards, and other adverse effects that may result from the operation of the rock crushing plant. I urge CCQ to reconsider this decision and prioritize the well-being of our communities over short-term economic interests. We must explore alternative solutions that do not compromise the health, safety, and quality of life of the residents in our communities throughout Texas. With that, we'll open up for any questions. But it's important to note that state law doesn't provide many opportunities for folks to get their day in administrative hearings or in court with these types of facilities, and that's because the rules are rigged by design. So the next legislative session, you can expect that I will be up there calling on the state legislature to change the law, not only to provide for an administrative process for people to get a meaningful day in court or before the TCEQ, but also to, as Dr. Porsa said, add a hospital in the list of locations that are prohibited from building, and allow people to file comments. And so that 660 number that we mentioned earlier, that was the comment period. And the TCEQ is supposed to consider those comments, right, in their final decision. Here, those 660 comments, which is an alarmingly high number, they took about just over 30 days to summarily disregard all of those comments and issue an approval. So we're now filing what's called a motion to overturn. So the initial decision is made by the executive director of the TCEQ. So we'll be going up to the TCEQ commissioners, who are appointed directly by the governor, to ask them to overturn that decision. We don't expect to have a fair opportunity to be heard in front of them. We're pretty confident they're just going to side with the industry. And then after that, we will look into filing a lawsuit. It's important that we exhaust all of our administrative remedies before we go to the court. Community together to talk about the overturn in conjunction with our local partners as well as Lone Star Legal Aid. So that administrative fight is you can bet your ass that's people to ensure that they're informed on the issues and so that we can have a coordinated effort, right, to do everything. We are already starting the process of looking at what a lawsuit would look like in this instance. So you can expect some major movement on this in the next 60 to 90 days. Any other questions?
Could you elaborate a little bit on why it's difficult
To lawsuit on each and every case and saying, hey, we represent all these communities, you need to do the right thing. So you have to find people who live within a certain distance, right? And then there's other instances where if it's a certain type of facility, you don't even have them decides to pull their permit application because it wasn't worth it. And we will pour whatever amount of money we have into making them fight this.
Can I add one other thing that I can say? That is, the name of this company is Texas Coastal Materials LLC. Texas Coastal Materials LLC. They're coming into our community, hopes to, permitted by TCEQ, put a poisonous concrete batch plant in our community, and then go out and solicit business to pour concrete to build things. We advocate in the ACP discretionary and wise spending. So we will don't do business with Texas Coastal Materials LLC because it kills people to make money. That's what the NSC, this is not just about being emotional, this is about money. And if they come into our community expecting our businesses to hire them